Hey there. Welcome back to Pod and Deliver. This week, Ruben, we're going to discuss something that you're familiar with, which is your classroom. Audience may not be aware of this, but Ruben started a new job this year. And I'll let you talk about it, Ruben, but definitely let us know some of the, just even how it's been the first few weeks of going back to the grind, because it's not always easy to change schools. And you did change schools and also change responsibilities and different things that are expected of you. So first off, tell us what's how's it going with your first few weeks of school?
Well, I wanted to get back into it because I didn't want to lose it. I didn't want to go so far between teaching, and it's been a year. So I applied, and the place I applied to was my number one school. And I like that. I like when my number one pick is is the winning pick. And so, um, you know what? Teachers have it hard. I can now come in to it more objectively. This is a hard career choice. This is a lot to
Yeah.
do. And I going in, I had a plan. So I'm teaching English. So in the past, I taught English and SPED. This year, none of that in terms of SPED, nothing at all. Yeah, I'm just teaching 12th grade English. I teach two 12th grade English classes. I teach an AP Lit class, an AP Language and Composition class, and that's 11th grade class. And I teach one English ninth grade English honors.
Can you tell our viewer, our listener, what kind of school is this?
So this is unusual for me. I'm teaching at a private school, a private religious school. And so it's so impactful. I'm That's one of the best parts of the school is that there are times where the spiritual component of a student's life is addressed, and we do that at least once a week. Um, Tomorrow we'll have a little service, and it's really great. It's just I don't know, it's just inspiring and encouraging to see students encourage each other, encourage each other's spiritual life. It's the first time I've ever been at a school where I feel free to say whatever I want in terms of what I believe, and there's no worries, and what my spiritual journey is like, and what's going on with me. Um, I'm just very happy in that respect. The students, I told an admin, I'm not used to students being that polite. Not to slight my last school or anything like that,
Sure.
because and we met one of the students from my last school, but she's amazing, and there were so many, but this is on another level. I feel like school wide, we have students who are just salt of the earth, so kind, top notch, top level academically. And so for me, I just kind of watch them and just kind of look over them and just think, I'm just blessed. I want to I want to do everything I can to support them. I feel like this obligation, it's almost like a spiritual obligation, like I've never felt. I've always felt that, because I had some really good mentors in that area. Mike McKay, Paul Richardson, who started at SAIA, and then we followed. But I just like that I'm in that environment and I could kind of contribute to that in any way I can. But it's really great in that respect.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're having that experience. That's cool.
And um, so coming into the school, I had a big challenge because um, I've never taught the AP classes, and so that's a learning curve. And so I guess before I get into any of that, I will say that, do you ever think about your teaching style and think, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? Do you ever think in those terms?
I have to go through that every year, Ruben, because I work with new teachers and we talk about strengths and weakness, more strengths and growth areas, and so which is, yeah, I guess you could put in the area of weakness. But so I to be, to help the teacher, I'll share some of my strengths or some of my um, areas that I need to grow in. So yeah, it's good to think about it every year.
I think if there's ever any question of what your your I know we don't use the word, I know in SPED we don't like to use the word weakness, we use the word needs. But you say growth areas, I like that even better. So the idea that if you ever have any questions about what your growth areas should be, or are, you know, what those are, you can just watch teachers. You can just see, watch teachers who are strong in areas, and you quickly see what you are not strong in. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things going in that I wanted to work on. One of them being environmental, having a strong classroom environment that's both nurturing, supportive, and just kind of built or created for that learning space of English, and literature. I'm also not very good with systems. And so when I say not very good, I'm okay. But even the system of the application I know well, Google Classroom, I realize I'm not that great with it. I have forgotten certain things, or I wasn't applying certain, you know, features in Google Classroom, and it has just really brought me into this area of focus where I need to get those things right. I was thinking about this area of applications and all the systems that we have to worry about. Like for me, it's Google Classroom, but not just do it, but do it well. You have to organize it. You have to be concerned with how students are viewing this application, how they're accessing the assignments, how they're submitting them, and students also who are not there, who are absent that day, how are they processing what you're putting up? So that's still a work in progress for me.
Is everyone at your school using Google Classroom, like teachers?
Yes,
That's good.
yes,
I think it's all uniform. That's good.
yes. And so it is good for the students. And my last school, we were using Canvas. And I'm not a big fan of Canvas for high school students because it's just not as efficient. But I was thinking about this type of thing because when I first stepped into the classroom, what did we have? A blackboard, some chalk, a grade book, and if we wanted to show them videos, we pushed that cart with the TV strapped on that
Yeah.
CR. That's what we had, you know. And life was so much simpler, right? And but I will say that you have to be prepared to go hard copies and analog. Prepare for prepare the digital feature, but be ready for anything to happen and to have those hard copies ready. I did a question. So one of the things I did well is that I did right in the first few days is I gave them the questionnaire. What do you want your teacher to do? What do teachers do well? And what does it mean to be a good teacher? And students mentioned some really great things like small group environment, small group teaching. Students mentioned vary your teaching style for different modes of teaching, different aspects. We talk about
Okay.
kinesthetic. They know some of those words, visual, auditory. They mentioned no videos. We don't like videos. I asked them, what do you prefer, digital or hard copies of the assignments? 100% said hard copy. 100% raised their hand when I asked.
Really?
Yes, it really influenced me to the point where I say, any chance I can get them to bring out their pen and write it out on a hard copy, I'm going to do it. I'm going to always have digital because so many students still miss, but I'm going to have hard copies available for them because they want it. So that's a little bit of that. So
That's
also,
good. That's great. And just, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I have not taken that survey with my students, but I've went from all paper to pretty much almost 90% electronic. So I'm going to do that survey. That's good. That's a good little
uh,
survey to do.
I'm going to give a little shout out to two people that this podcast has helped me think through some things I wouldn't have thought of before, and one of them being the questionnaire. And Dave Dorff really pushed the idea of of kind of getting the temperature of students. I have always, or I've done that for a few years, but now I really intentionally do that this time. And one of, you know, our niece, Chris's daughter, is working in a school now, and she asked me yesterday, how do you support students who give behavioral problems? What do you do with that? And one of the things I answered has to do with the environment of so this questionnaire, part of why I gave them this questionnaire is I'm giving them a voice. I'm asking them these questions and I showed them the results of the feedback. uh, 5 kids said they appreciate small group environment. You know, the biggest response I got in terms of what do you want a teacher to do is explain the lesson clearly across every
Wow,
class.
that's cool.
They wanted every ninth graders wanted that, seniors wanted that. So I had to really slow down and make these explanations clear. The other thing is I asked them their birthday. And so I sent you a photo of the birthday board. We've already celebrated a good 10 birthdays in a month.
Mm.
We've celebrated those in August and those in September.
Mm.
And we sang. I gave them a bookmark because we have silent reading period. And on the bookmark, I gave them an assignment pass, meaning they could take an assignment off. And I gave them some Jolly Ranchers and we sang. And I feel like that answers part of the question of how to address behavioral issues. You address them before they happen. You let the students know this is a good environment for you, a supportive environment. I'm listening to you. I showed you a picture of my classroom where I have like a reading lounge, and next to the library, I have a couple of 3 bean bags and a sofa, and it's parked right there. I have some rugs, and the students really like it. And I stole that from my friend Natalie, who did that, and I always admired that. And you can sense that the students are associating reading with comfort, and they're excited about the reading time. And there's pushback. I have one class that has 3 or 4 students who don't do it, and I say, you know what? I'm going to give you points for your reading. But if I look up and you're doing, because some students are doing this, talking, you're not going to get the points. Immediate change because they want those points.
Yeah. It's
Those are
funny that
some
but
things.
points is a big deal. I mean, if you say I'm gonna take away points or give points, they kids jump to it. And it doesn't even matter if you make it a lot of points. It just matters that you're doing it, you know. They fall through, they jump to that.
I know that going in, so I really thought through my weakness being not just systems. I know a teacher who is so strong in tech and in how to access systems and how to display them. And I know I'm not strong in that when I see her. In the same way, I've always found a weakness to be in my teaching the how to set up the classroom environment. By watching other teachers, I learned I'm not that strong in this, but I want to be strong. I might have told this story about prom and when I had a teaching when I taught right next to him, and he set up his classroom. What took him an hour would take me all day, and mine wouldn't still be as nice as his. He just knew the aesthetics of a room and how to put things together. He knew how to put a globe on a on a light, on a desk. I mean, he knew how to just put things, he knew classroom environment well and aesthetics. So I've really worked hard on that. And it's okay, it's still a work in progress. And that is something though I could definitely say I'm a little bit better at going in this year. The final thing is, oh, what were you gonna
No, I
say?
was gonna say how, I mean, maybe this is gonna be your final thing, but how is your energy level like? Do you feel like you are able to cope with that? Because most teachers know in the first couple weeks, especially, you're dealing with a lot of fatigue because you're not used to talking so much because you have the summer break and then you come back and you're talking a lot. And you try not to talk. I tell the kids all the time, I go, I'm done talking because I know the more I talk is that's not good. I want them to be talking more than me. So, but even so that, how are you doing with fatigue?
Yeah, I'm not really talking that much. My fatigue level is I guess I need to go to bed at a more reasonable hour. I've been staying up working on assignments and grading, so that's been shocking how much grading there is. And you want to be on top of grading because that student feedback is very critical. Students see that you are on it, that you have given them the time, you've read their assignment, and I've been really on that. My fatigue is just more of just working and understanding the systems and there's a thing called teacher ease that we do. Do you guys do Power School?
No, I'm not sure what that is.
Inputting the grades and
Okay, well, I mean we have a program, but it's a different name to that.
what's
Yeah,
it called? What's it
we,
called?
we have Schoology.
Schoology.
Yeah.
That no, but that the school has access to where they see your
Oh, it's
grades.
it's called it's a portal. I think they call it portal. I know
Okay.
it. Yeah, they just call it portal.
Yeah, ours is teacher ease. I guess the last thing I would say is the relative strength, I guess, for me, if there's a strength that I have, it would be maybe the actual the teaching and the content. I try to really make it engaging. So you mentioned the speaking. I'm allowing student speaking um, a lot more. They have to pitch the book that they're reading. We time them 2 minutes, and they're up every almost every day because I spread out these book pitches, and they seem to be both terrified and excited about it. And I like that. I like if like when you go into my class, students are often up because they're talking or we're breaking up into groups. But the one thing I'll say just to even just the idea of I don't want to be stagnant. I'm teaching two books or plays that I'm
Hmm.
familiar with that I've done before: Romeo and Juliet, Death of a Salesman. But I'm very confident in those. But I still went to look at what people are doing in terms of Death of a Salesman, Romeo and Juliet, and I got really excited. I didn't want to just be content with what I was doing, but I really grabbed onto a lot of other ideas and I tried something out today in Romeo and Juliet. The students were laughing and had a great time with it. And so I'm glad that I wasn't so closed-minded and I was open to trying something different.
Did you get those ideas from other teachers, or did you just like did some research?
Other teachers and resources online. So you can find things like that. Of course, TPT. We've talked about that
The best site, yeah.
on this site. If you're stuck, for me, it's like there's some things that I do with Romeo with Shakespeare that I think is better than what anybody does. That's fine. You keep what you have, but you can supplement them and put them through your own lens. I really encourage people to look at what other people are doing because some people are doing. I'm going to send a message to this one teacher who I looked at some of what she's doing because it's so good. And
Cool.
you're just so appreciative. We're living in this age where we can see what people are doing, teachers are doing, and you can incorporate them. And and man, students benefit from the ideas of our peers. So, I wanted sorry, the shout out was to Dorf and one to Ozzy. So I got that book pitch from Ozzy, but it was in a different way. Ozzy was talking about a couple of years ago when we talked to him. He was talking about speed dating with books,
Oh yeah.
and right where he was sort of talking about the book. And from what I recall, he was saying that he would kind of pitch the book and I wanted to do that, but I thought, how am I going to have time to do it? So I'm having the students pitch the books that they're reading, and they have 2 minutes to do it, and they have to cover certain areas. And it's become a really nice thing, a real encouraging thing to see students speak, and it's been emotional because I'm encouraging students to make connections with their own lives from some of these books, and you get to know the student and their background through the lens of literature, and it's overall been very positive, and I'm grateful for the position.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm glad you're back on the saddle, they say, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and you're happy because it's not too far from your home. Now the logistics, it's nice to have a job that's not too far and so you're not doing a lot of driving and things like that. So that's good.
It's about a 10-minute drive.
That's great. Yeah. I have a 45 minutes, so I just that's a big deal because that's minutes. That's minutes that you could be doing something else. So very cool. Well, I want to share a couple things before we go off. One is the photographs that you were mentioning. I'm going to put them at the end of the episode so the audience could see that. So stick around for the couple pictures. I'm going to go ahead and put up at the end. And also, don't forget to press that subscribe button for us so we could just continue to do this program. You're going to say something, Ruben?
One of those pictures is just birthdays, the names of students and their birthdays.
And what is that?
So,
So what do you do with that?
so it's a reminder when people walk into my room whose birthdays are in September. So we have September birthdays up. In October, we'll have October birthdays. Another board, another yeah, bulletin board is one in which I show my a little bit of my personality and what I like to do. I have pictures of my trip to Indonesia and New York and Chicago, and they're there. So it reflects a little bit of who I am. So we know a little bit about the teacher, and then and some other posters. What I notice is students are commenting. They go, "Oh, you always seem to add something to the class," and that's how I feel. I want to add something, a little bit something every week to step up my game. And I told her exactly that. I
Okay.
want to step up the game a little bit more every week. You come in, I've added something to the environment to build on it. Because you and I have seen teachers in their classrooms and they're amazing, and you think, how did they think of
Oh,
that? And it's so powerful.
yeah, I mean, we're still learning. And I always tell people, even young teachers I work with, I go, I'm still learning, I'm growing, and I'm stealing their ideas because there's a lot of the young teachers, I should say new teachers, that they come in with some really good ideas, and it would behoove us not to grab onto some of those things and implement them in our classrooms. So anyway, well, thanks, Ruben, for sharing your update on your new school year and your new school, and maybe we could talk about it again at the end of the year, see how you survived it. And then soon we'll talk have an episode soon coming up with the AP so we could talk about that because I believe you're teaching an AP course, right? So we could kind of get in depth into that because I've taught it for many years and I know you're starting that journey. Okay, well with that, thank you for joining us again on Pod and Deliver. We'll see you soon. Have a good night. Bye-bye.